everybody. We are about to watch game one of the OCS top 16 matchup between Nick and Paul. aeneas23, Nick, the dark side CCG player at the top of your screen, and Paul, the light side Hitco player at the bottom of your screen. They are playing game one right now. It's 10 o'clock Eastern. If you are watching this later today on a replay, game two will be tomorrow morning, same time. As far as this matchup, the first interesting thing to note is carbon chamber testing is a really popular deck right now. Uses any methods necessary to get Despair and Boba Fett, and it plays Fett and his gun and uses the gun to relocate Fett over to the audience chamber and flip, and then hopefully gets out IG-88 and starts doing use or force pile pulls and all that sort of fun stuff. Interesting though, pmyers uses Hitco, and always uses Hitco, I think, in his however many games it is in the OCS. 12, how many months there? February, March, April, May, June. 7? Is it 7 months? 7 months of the OCS. 12, 84 games. Half of those are light side, so 42 games. He probably played all 42 with Hitco. So if you're Nick, you have to put him on playing Hitco, even if you're like, well, maybe he audibles, so I don't sell out completely. You got to put him on Hitco. And the other thing about it is, yeah, JNAP. Morning, Cal. Morning, Jared. Yeah, Jared says he thinks he played it exclusively April to August, so maybe not February or March, but I recall playing him in the early months, and he had Hitco at that point as well. So I don't know if he did switch between other decks, but okay. JNAP says he played Hunt Down as his Diplo in February. So maybe not all 42 games for light side, but certainly the vast majority, 30 plus, and definitely the last 5 months of the OCS was just Hitco. So and more tellingly, more interestingly, I guess, is it's a Hitco using I Must Be Allowed to Speak, meaning anytime he plays Chewie, Leia, Luke, Lando over to Tatooine, he gets a use pile pull and pulls good cards to beat you up. And any sort of light side mains, whether that's Throne Room or Hitco or some other variant, but any other light side mains that uses I Must Be Allowed to Speak is strong against a scum deck. They can, whoever takes the audience chamber wins the game. And light side with mains can fight against dark side pretty well, and it can go either way, with light side maybe slightly favored, and then when you add in use pile pulls, light side becomes a lot more favored. And so it appears to me Nick picked a deck that just plays into pmyers' strength of just playing mains and throwing them at the audience chamber and then getting use pile pulls. Also, Hitco, I think, can be even worse at times than Throne Room for scum, depending on what tech you're running, because it, like my father before me, makes Luke totally immune to disarmed. So if you are playing scum against Throne Room, you might pack in a few disarms, and if you can operate on a Luke, or at least disarm him, even if you don't have the doctrine to operate, and get rid of a Luke Saber, and you can do that with Anakin Saber, and you can whittle down the weapons, it's a little bit better of a fight. But when you've just got this tank Luke sitting there, immune and adding one to every destiny, and um, immune less than 6 or 7 attrition, immune to disarmed, it's tough. So I'm surprised Nick picked this as a dark side. I'm wondering if he has a lot of tech, though I don't quite know what that would be. Yeah, so Paul got the opening hand Wisa also, so he that's sort of the main activation. That's probably all his activation is Boss Nass Chambers in the farm. And so getting that is huge. Now Paul's getting 12 force going forward. If he had, 10, he might be a little more choked. But I'm sure Paul was happy to see that Wisa. Nick did his initial setup and then just only drew. Did he even draw any? No, he just relocated and moved back. And then he activated or relocated Fet and then just ended his turn. Activated. He gets to activate one on Lightside's turn with the console. So yeah, I don't know. Nick maybe has a good hand to come back at him with, or maybe he just worries about Draw Their Fire. He wanted to have 2 force saved for Stunning Leader. Stunning Leader costs a force, and Draw Their Fire would make it cost the second one. So he saved the last force and then activated with the console. So he had 2. Paul's just going for the YOLO. Let's attack turn 1, and a couple reasons he can do that. One, he did the farm pull, so he knows there is a saber in there for Luke. Obviously, if you attack with Luke and there's no saber, that's worse. But 2, because Fet can use his text to swap a card from hand, he knows there will be something like a Project Telepathy or Stunning Leader to stop the first battle. So he wants to chew through that evasion so then he can get subsequent battles through. He might also have in his use pile like a Mandalorian Mishap to cancel Fet's text and just clear Fet right now and get close to ending the game. Or an Impressive Most Impressive, which would cancel Stunning Leader, would be another option. Though, if you're Nick, you're looking more to, with that amount of force saved, you are looking to project Telepathy, so the battle can't continue. Hitko can only battle for free on the front side, so he would not still have 2 force saved. Though he could, and he can't use Like My Father Before Me and get the saber. It used to be able to do both. Now it's one or the other. So if he downloads a saber, he won't also be able to put down a force, pay that to battle, and still have 2 for telepathy. So I don't think Paul's Hitco usually plays sense. It might have one. Paul goes ahead and plays a Simple Tricks, thinking he's just going to be stacked at the audience chamber for a while. He's not... he being Nick is not going to spread out to 2 battlegrounds anytime soon, and so that'll stop the objective retrieval for a while, any potential scum retrieval. JNet points out that Paul Myers Hitco has really stupid good Destiny and Destiny adders. He's got like Skywalkers and stuff like that. He can just clear out a lot of alien fast. Court has forfeit bonuses, and he plays a saber from hand. I don't know if he used pile pulled that or just happened to have it. That means he can, if he thinks about projected telepathy, do Like My Father Before Me. Okay. Nick takes He's All Yours Bounty Hunter into hand so that Fet can get a Destiny if his evasion is canceled. I guess right now he's not worried about Draw Their Fire. I wonder if Paul will remember to use Like My Father Before Me. It'll put his hand size quite low, but it means projective telepathy can't cancel it. Nick will have to use his Stunning Leader and lose 2 to weapons display. And Nick should probably be pulling some shields for this, though I don't know if he wants secret plans right now. Obviously, if Fet survives, Coward would be a little better, but Paul's not going to pay to retrieve heading anyway, so secret plans is probably better long run. But yeah, with court normally gives all the bounty hunters forfeit +2, but there's no forfeit bonus with CCT. So when he's got all those guys in the audience chamber, if General Leia and Screaming Lando come out, and then Skywalkers and leadership is played, and he's suddenly drawn 5 destiny and hits a dude, and suddenly, six aliens are cleared. He's got a bunch of 5s and 6s, and so he did use Like My Father. He is thinking of exactly what we're talking about. He puts a card down, pays 1 to battle. Fett here will swap, uses text, I'm sure. No, what? He plays Stunning Leader as the first action. Why? Okay, so that was a mistake. Like, at some point you want Fett to use his text, right? And you might as well have the good card now rather than later, and you don't need Slave 1. Like, I mean, yeah, if you have Jabba's Haven and you're like, I'm going to pull Nahara for the activation, and I got a super cheap alien pilot, I'm just going to go like Wolf and Slave 1 for 4 force there. It gets me a second battleground for simple tricks and any free drains, but you can't even afford the 4 force early. You just have to go so hard at the audience chamber. You wouldn't even do that. So right now, he should be swapping that Fett ship from his hand, which is, yeah, and he didn't even pull a shield. So Paul gets that card back for free. And Nick just says LOL. I think Nick's tilted at seeing the matchup. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's too early to say that, but those are 2 major mistakes. Here he pulls the secret plans after the retrieval, but not swapping with Fett is nuts, because you can swap with Fett, swap that ship for anything. I don't care what it is. It could be a 4-lum to cancel Luke's text so that you can clear him. It could be like, I don't know, some kind of alien like the pit alien, though you wouldn't play him in here and only in Scum, but that says he has to be targeted with sabers first, or I don't know, whatever, something to kill that Luke, something to, or maybe you have a couple stunning leaders, so swap for a second stunning leader, and maybe he's thinking, oh, I'll just do that swap next time. But what if you activate it? Like, you swap with that first and then you play the stunning leader. So that's just could be a game-killing mistake, having any card from your reserve deck in hand instead of that Fett's ship when you've got a 6-card hand. So he lost... Oh, and he lost Slave 1 from hand, and then EPP Dengar from reserve to that to the weapons display. So, yeah. Yeah. Kyle, that's a great point. Kyle and Wolfman says, since he already had the stunning leader in hand, obviously he didn't have to swap for it. He could have swapped for an offensive card. So normally you have to swap for that evasion, right? You don't have an evasion in hand and you need to stop that battle, and so you swap a card, and you have to waste it on stunning leader. Since he already had the stunning leader, he could have swapped it for anything. Paul draws 1 and saves 1, and that's prudent because Greedo is going to absolutely be in this dark side deck. So if Greedo comes down, light side will have to pay 1 force to fire, so they left that force saved. And Scum is going to come down from reserve deck using the objective, and then the audience chamber is going to pull an alien. Looks like there is some spam in the chat, which I don't know how to delete. Cool. All right, so he uses a audience chamber game text to grab Darrow, who grabs IG, which normally is your play because you want IG to be able to start doing force pile pulls. But And there's the Greedo. I think it's such a battle against Hitco that I don't know that. I mean, maybe he's got extra stunning leaders. Like maybe he's like, all right, if he plays Hitco, I'm just gonna hope I find my Decree V early and just sit here and play like 3 stunning leaders and just stall until I can build the biggest stack. But even then, yeah. So we're just going to move phase. This pile's not going to do anything against Luke and a friend. Even if he stalled and built just a huge pile of stuff, the way Paul's Hitco is built with all the Destiny adders, I think he can easily challenge that audience chamber. Whereas some light sides, even some light side mains, would have to run from the stack of everything. Jodo and the fact that this isn't court, so it doesn't have crack vet to add 2 destinies, makes it a little weaker. And CCT also just spends a lot more slots than court on damage stuff, like You'll Be Dead and Voyeur and stuff like that, whereas court just has more guys. And so sometimes light has to run from a stacked audience chamber, but I think probably not against CCT and probably not with this Hitco. The way it's built with all the super high destiny and destiny adders, light can sit there and just clear out a lot of stuff. So I think this is easily going to be a win. I mean, plus 20 is an easy prediction to make, but it could even be like 25 to 30. Like I could see a 28. I would not be surprised right now if he won by 28 because Dark just can do nothing. Like light just takes the audience chamber, just drains a ton there, and eventually Dark's plan at that point would be like run on the ground, like go here or here and go to the system, and then like try and get a spy like Afra or Probot over to the JCC or Boss Nass and try and do damage by being at a battleground site system. So you're at 2 battlegrounds, draining for simple tricks, draining free, and kind of going wide, just to cut the diff. Because otherwise, light's just. I mean, I think we're going to see something similar to that if Dark can find spies, because it's hard. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic. Maybe Nick has some tricks up his sleeve, but I think this might get ugly in terms of final differential. Well, the other deck, I'm a little less confident on what Paul played for Dark throughout the season. And Nick, I don't know, because I think he plays multiple different decks. But Paul, I think, mostly played Imperial Entanglements. He might have played some other stuff. I don't know that he stuck with that as hard as he did with Hitco for Light, but I think he played it a lot. So if you are Nick, you want something that can thoroughly beat Entanglements. But the problem is I don't know that Entanglements loses to anything by 20 plus. Like I think it can just grind against any light deck. It's not gonna, if you play careful and you don't take an early beat down or something, I don't know why you'd lose by a ton with Entanglements. And Nick makes a comment in the chat saying, "Eesh, should have played ISB." And Paul Myers does a wink face. And I completely agree. I think CCT is not a good choice against any farm light side deck, farm Hitco. And especially because the farm is really good for you as ISB, because it's, you end up with a Vader there. You definitely have tons of Stormtroopers in the deck and stuff. And so it gives an extra battleground, and this is an extra battleground, and you've got your 2 Cloud City sites, and Hitco's not going to have any space. So you're just going to go like Star Destroyer to Mustafar, and then you've got ISB guys who can go 1 battleground, 2 battlegrounds, 2 Cloud City sites is 4 battlegrounds. Light can't kick you off all those. And once you're on a battleground site, whichever one it is, you can then just go spy, and Light can't respond to all those threats. And ISB should beat this by, assuming it finds its Gick and doesn't get overflowed by a million, ISB should beat this by like 15 plus. I mean, I think if you're Paul Myers round 2 opponent, you should be considering that. Actually, I think me and Eric are the round 2 for these guys. So Eric, if you're watching this, or me, take note. Consider ISB against this Hitco. And if you're Paul Myers watching this, just ignore everything I just said. So let's see. General Jar Jar came down, and he's just like, he just blows up droids. He's not as good at the other one as blowing up droids, because the other one gets a +2 versus their destiny because IG has no ability. But this one doesn't die. This one like stays there if he blows up the droid. And Paul Myers' destiny is so high that destiny +1 greater than Scum's destiny should be fine. And then it just blows it up and Jar Jar stays, and then he can use his leadership to add a destiny with him or whatever. So yeah, Ryan Searson says he loves CCT but surprised he picked it knowing Paul played Hitco, and Joker King agrees that Court's probably better than CCT here, all the characters and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's definitely a tough match. Yeah, Kyle says it could get out of hand really fast. I think so. I think it could easily, be 25 plus. It's gonna be tough. Cal says I should make you moderators to deal with the chat spam. I don't know how to do that. Sounds fancy. Like I'd trust any of you to be moderators. Probably ban me for something. Let's see. All right, so Lando comes down. So now we're looking at. All right, he's going to hit a barrier. Interestingly, no barrier on the Jar Jar. I'd almost be more worried about that, because if you could keep IG alive for a few turns, of course, if you're losing everyone else along the way, I guess it doesn't matter. But if you can keep him alive and be pulling your stuff, but Jar Jar's such a risk. So Lando will come down. Paul's debating grabbing. He does want to keep enough force for that potential projective telepathy, because Fett still hasn't done his swap. So he's debating, do I grab that or not? I think you probably don't, because I think, well, I guess as Hitco, there's less grab targets, right? Because Dark Time doesn't matter to you the way it does against Throne Room. But Voyeur is still annoying. Artillery could potentially be annoying if there's no you'll be dead, so it's used and they're just like running and pinging. But yeah, I don't know. He opts not to grab. I think more to save the 1 force this turn, which I agree with. So that Lando comes down. All his guys notably are deploy +1 there at that audience chamber because of despair. Lando gets him a used power pull. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another character to get him a used power pull, like a Chewie with Bowcaster or a General Leia. Not that he has a force right now, but for next turn, follow up with another Leia, a used pile pull, Battle Skywalker. So I think right now, if I am Paul, I battle. I let Lando be excluded, lose another 2 to weapons display. Luke's only immune less than 6. So it would be a bummer if he drew Maul Sith Infiltrator or Artillery. But if he doesn't draw one of those two, you battle. You get a chance to blow up Jar Jar. If he doesn't draw one of those, you only lose Jar Jar. You hit a guy, and you kill another one to attrition, and he's left with very little, and you're left with Luke and Lando. So I think that's worth the risk of him not drawing. If he does draw a 6 or 7, you lose Luke, and then you're left with these 2, which you still get another chance to blow up IG, and you get 2 Destiny. And so I think you definitely battle here, even though Lando's barriered. And then I think, he used Like My Father before me. He's getting low in hand, cards in hand. He's down to 5, but battle, pay 2 for projective telepathy. If he plays that, I don't know that he would with I think he'd have to fet swap for something offensive, because if light has the 2 force, you swapped for a card that says make them use 2. And you'd rather have a better card than that. So I think... So he does battle. Lando's excluded for barrier. Weapons display makes him lose search and destroy and Forlom from his reserve deck. See, Forlom would just be a good card to have in hand, and if he had done the swap, because he deals with Lando easily. Like, he wouldn't have had to use a barrier on Lando. You barrier Jar Jar. You've got Forlom sitting there. You can blank Lando. So he does a swap. Yeah, he has not burned. Keith says, just no gifts. Well, only I have to add the Keith face emoji though. Yeah, Joker King asks if Vet's still active. Yeah, he in the first battle he had Stunning Leader in hand, so he did not swap. What? Did he not swap again? Did he not know Vet can swap? Did he swap for Stunning Leader and I just missed it? Maybe he did. Maybe I'm harping on something that just like didn't. I hate how it scrolls to the bottom when you don't want it to. No, Stunning Leader from hand. There was never... Yeah, he once again did not fet swap. All right, so he swings it, or he goes for IG with Jar Jar and draws an Obi versus they're still coming through, and so he misses, which is huge for Dark. Wait, JNAP says he did swap. How am I not... Okay. Someone like observe this game and scroll up, because it's... I can do a search. Here, Boba. So let's see. He used the blaster here. He excluded with stunning. He transferred the blaster. Oh, here we go. This time, this battle, he swapped. Okay, yeah. It just scrolled too fast. It was right before the Jar Jar. Okay, so this battle he remembered. Cool. Thanks, Jared. All right, so Jar Jar misses. He uses hidden weapons on Luke. That would have been fantastic, but Hear Me Baby is there to cancel it. I would guess, I mean, either that's very lucky by Paul in his 5-card hand to have that. I would guess he used a used pile pull on that, just knowing that. I wouldn't even be surprised if that was his first pull with Luke, was just, I'm going to go ahead and grab that and then battle the Fet, because if he swaps for, hidden weapons, I guess if you hit Fet, hidden weapons doesn't help there in that first battle. But if he has the hidden weapons and Luke's captured, it does become a lot harder for Light. So Dark's going to try and shoot. His defense value is 7, so he needs to get the artillery, but Dark feels he's just so far behind. No, and he misses. He's got a close call. Yeah, Nick says 1 card will do it. the 1 card being artillery. If he'd hit that 1 in 29 chance about a 3% of the time there, he's looking a lot better. Of course, Luke will cover, and then just still sitting with Lando and Jar Jar. Light's not in an awful spot, depending on what's in their hand. They only have a 4-card hand. If they got nothing else and Dark gets to reinforce and Light moves out, it could totally swing the tempo of the game, but he didn't. Actually, it's a +2, so if he said 1 card will do it, it might actually be 2 cards that would do it, if he has Maul Sith Infiltrator in the deck. Or maybe he knows that's in hand or something. So leadership is played and grabbed. And I think that's a decent grab against this deck. So Luke swings and hits Fet. I don't know why. Well, I guess Fet's forfeit 6. Nick says, so how do you beat ISB? He tries to get a beat down in, but yeah, I played ISB versus Paul early in the OCS February or March, and my ISB beat this Hitco. Of course, it was back before the 1,000 guys ISB iteration that is now the prominent version, but I think that's even better. But it was a Walker's version with veers and stuff, and it still beat it. So Light draws a total battle destiny of 10 because Luke added 1 to each of them. It drew a 4 and 4, which became so IG's dying anyway. These will each only cover 4. That's 8. IG covers 9, 5. It's going to clear the whole audience chamber. IG's 5, and they're both 4. So everything dies because of, like my father, adding 1 to each destiny. Captive's going to get freed. Despair says that the objective can't be placed out of play. It can't be flipped back. So that'll stay there the whole game. But someone named Locke just typed the cleaner, meaning like he just cleaned out the whole audience chamber. I don't know who Locke is, but I also don't know why he can type in this chat. Apparently, like, whoever set up this league didn't set it up for to be like a viewers can't talk chat. That seems... Yeah. Oh, and Nick just says, sorry for the poor showing, viewers. I'm not gonna miss work for this. GG, you advance. Paul says no need to apologize. It's all good. And he says I can't beat you by more than you'll beat me. Yeah, Light's about to win because Light's gonna be retrieving every turn too. Light's easily gonna win by mid-20s to upper 20s. So congratulations, Paul, for being the second person to advance after Drew Coffee Pass advanced over JNAP last week. And now Paul is our second person in the top 8. So yeah, quick one. Just an awful match. Nothing you can do. I mean, that's what a light side mains with farm card does against a dark side farm. And that's one of the annoying things I think right now about the meta is when I'm looking at decks and I'm building. I've been playing a lot in the Texas top 16 and now the OCS top 16 and the Corona Cup, and I'm the open player on my team. So looking at the decks and I'm like, all right, you got ISB for dark, right? ISB is great, but everyone knows it's ISB and it's right. You played ISB 1,000 times. But then you look at dark, and every dark side besides ISB, there's Black Sun. That's another one. Black Sun's decent. It has some bad matches. I think No Idea just destroys Black Sun. But Black Sun exists. But besides ISB, like all the dark sides are on Tatooine. You've got Court is on Tatooine. CCT is on Tatooine. Entanglements is on Tatooine. Watto is on Tatooine. And so when you're looking at like, what other darks can I play? Maybe I'll build a Watto. How's Entanglements? Then you're like, oh yeah, Light plays the farm card. And you're like, oh, I'll play CCT. And you're like, oh yeah, Light plays the farm card. And you're like, in my Texas Mini World's top, all 3 of my top matches actually, top 16, 8, and 4, I was playing Throne Room, and I just floated Imbats. I didn't even play the farm. I was still doing the docking bay puller, and I just floated this because I'm just like, if they play Court or CCT or whatever, I want use pulls. I'll just start Saitor, docking bay puller, and farm card, and like I lose on Walkling there, which sucks, but like I'd rather have use pulls, and it's really bad for the dark meta right now because so many dark side decks are on Tatooine. And light side just plays the farm card and beats them up. And so, yeah, I don't know what can be done about that, but I hope design does do something about that because right now dark is really pigeonholed into like ISB or cards decks that get beat up by light side mains with farm card. So it's kind of disheartening looking for dark decks. So, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a bad meta call by Nick and quick match. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for the comments and streaming.